I'm just walking my dog, singing my song, strolling along. Oh, it's just me and my dog, catching some sun. We can't go wrong. My life was lonely and blue. Yeah, I was sad as a sailor. I was an angry one too. Then there was you.
Hi, I'm Mary Catalano. Welcome to Rescue Roundtable, and here we are today with our guest, Helen Storey, who's a rescue lady, and we wanted, how are you doing? Thank you for coming, Helen.
I'm glad to be here, Mary.
And how did you ever get involved in rescue? What's your problem?
What's my problem? Yes, it is a problem.
It is a problem. It is your, what's the matter with you?
I actually first got involved because when I hadn't grown up in a family with dogs, or animals of any kind, except a goldfish now and then. But when I moved, I met my husband in New York, and when we moved to Los Angeles, he kept saying, great, now we can get a dog, we can get a dog. And I kept thinking, oh God, a dog, what am I going to do with a dog? So we get to Los Angeles, and it was his birthday coming up, and I thought, I know, I'm going to surprise him. I'm going to find him a dog. And I knew he'd grown up with basset hounds. So I look in the LA Times, I look in the classified under pets, and then I see this ad, 11-year-old basset hound with 3 days to live.
Oh.
And I thought, oh my God, I have no idea. I have no idea that 11 is old for a dog. I have no idea that someone's just placed that ad, you know, in hopes of that the dog is already safe, but, you know, they've just put that in there to have impact. So I called the woman up and I said, I'll take that dog. And she said, well, but don't you want to meet the dog first? I said, no, it's fine. Just keep the dog safe. I'll be there tomorrow. Where do you live?
Oh, I love it.
And I drove 2 hours. I don't even know where I went, but it was miles away. I had no idea where I was going. And I get this 11-year-old basset hound, Dudley, who was an amazing dog. And we had him. He lived another year. He had a massive seizure and died, but that's how I got involved. And I actually, after that, I met someone who was involved with the Lang Foundation when Jillian was still heading things up, and I started fostering dogs for them. So
now,
that was
the dog, Dudley, had it been rescued from a pound or something, or what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't remember the name of the person?
I really don't. It was an individual who'd, you know, just saved him, and so.
So you started working for Jillian? Did you say Jillian at the Lang Foundation? Mm-hmm. Volunteering there?
Yeah, mainly fostering. Mm-hmm. That's what I started off doing, and then I kind of started rescuing myself. You know, I actually also volunteered at the West LA shelter. It didn't last that long because I have so much admiration for people who volunteer at shelters. It's such an incredibly difficult thing to do. I mean, just going there for an hour, it takes days to recover from.
Yes, yes, it is
it's
really
hard, you know. And I think a lot of people who really care about animals, you know, put themselves in that position, and it's an admirable thing to do. But my stint ended when I intercepted a pregnant terrier mix. She was probably a Wheaton mix of some kind, heavily pregnant, and I, you know, just didn't want her to have the puppies in the shelter, so I took her home, and she proceeded to have 8 puppies. I have no idea. They were pretty large puppies who proceeded to wreck our house.
How fun! Isn't that nice?
And that was
that's what their job description is, pretty much.
Yeah. Exactly. But I don't know. You know, most recently I was involved with Much Love Animal Rescue.
How did you place those
6
puppies
years.
initially? I mean, how did you get?
How did I place those puppies? I just made some flyers up and I put word out. I mean, even, you know, I'd go down to the vet for the low-cost vaccinations, and I, you know, had a basket full of puppies, and, you know, a million people were interested, and word just spread. And it actually, most of them were pretty easy to place, except for we had the mother, whose name was Dell, and one of the puppies, who was the biggest puppy, for a pretty long time. That puppy was probably about 4 or 5 months old, and then I managed to find a home for both of them together, which was great because at that point they'd become really bonded.
Yeah.
But they got an amazing house up off Mulholland, and I remember we went up to visit them, and It was just, that's what's so amazing, you know, when you see these animals in a great home.
Right.
It makes it all worthwhile, doesn't it?
Right. So you said you were saying you started working for Much Love.
Yeah.
Working with Much Love.
Yeah, I got involved, you know, volunteering with Much Love, which is a great organization, and I eventually became the events director and, you know, worked on fundraising. I mean, I was involved in all aspects. I went to mobile adoptions at weekend and, you know, pulled animals from the shelter and whatever needed to be done.
So you just really jumped right in there.
I did, and I loved it, but I just kind of, at the end of last year, I just decided it was time for me to move on. I actually really wanted to get involved in the, you know, the bigger picture. I mean, I still love, you know, and I think it's amazing to go to a shelter and help get one animal out.
Right.
You know, it makes a huge difference. But, you know, you and I were talking about that earlier. You kind of, as you're processing the paperwork for one animal, you know, watch 6 dogs been dumped off, and you kind of feel like
it just negates your whole.
It's a drop in the ocean. So I start thinking, what can I do? You know, what can I put my energy into that can maybe impact on the bigger picture?
Right.
So, and that's kind of, I've always networked, and the website kind of, you know, came through that networking and came through that need to get involved with those bigger issues, you know.
So now your website is called?
The Wuffington Wag.
Okay, and where'd you get Wuffington? Where's that? Is that a dog's name?
No, it's just Woof.
Oh,
you
I
know,
see.
Woof
Okay.
and Wag. Woof Wag.
All
and then,
right.
of course, you know, I kind of came up with it, and someone said, oh my God, that it sounds like the Huffington Post. And I said, well, you know.
Oh, that's pretty funny,
That's not going to be
actually.
such a bad thing, really.
Yeah, that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
And we actually ran into Ariana Huffington at a Prop 2 event, and she thought it was hysterically funny. She did a couple of shout outs for us, and we have her on tape, you know. Hi, I'm Ariana Huffington. Have you wagged today?
Good. Good. Very
which
good.
is cool.
So you worked
She's
on
a cool
Prop 2
lady.
also?
Not really. I wasn't really involved. I networked a lot. I,
Yeah.
you know, wrote about it on the website, and I'm certainly happy it passed, even though I know it's going to take until, I think it's going to be another 4 years before we
Right.
really see any difference.
But it's fantastic. I
amazing thing.
collected signatures at
Did you?
initially, and then when it got on the ballot, I gave out information at my
Yeah.
adoption events. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
That's a big step.
It's huge, and same as the spay and neuter law. I was very involved with that campaign. That you know, Judy Mancuso.
Oh, I see. I didn't see you, and I went to Sacramento 5 times to
Yeah,
lobby.
well, I was not involved with the state law. I got involved in
Afterwards, the city.
the city law, you know, which came about through Judy's efforts with the
Right,
state law.
right. Were you at the meeting in Van Nuys with Bob Barker?
No, I was not at that meeting.
Okay, because we had.
I was on the ad hoc committee specifically promote. I only got involved, you know, like a couple of months before the law went into effect to help with the event, the Spay Day LA event,
Right.
which was to promote the law, and it's working. I think I really think it's going to have an impact.
Right, I give out.
People are signing up for, you know, spay and neuter clinics and the mobile, so it's a great thing.
Yeah, it is great. I had, when it came out, I took it and I cut and pasted the giant ordinance into one page. I sent it out to my rescue list, and I asked them to translate it into Spanish. And somebody did, which
Yeah.
was great. And then I sent it to
I've
Ed
seen the
Bogues.
Spanish
And then
version.
I sent it to Ed
I didn't know
Bogues.
it was you that
Yeah.
did that.
And Ed said, well, we don't know if it's correct. I said, how about asking your staff? Because guess what? Se habla español. Yeah, so I have a one-page version that I sent out to all my rescue people
That's great.
in English and Spanish, just so it was easier just to hand out to people. Before we had all the wonderful, now they have flyers. I post those at my adoptions also, because I'm just really excited about that.
Yeah.
And people say, well, how are you going to enforce it? Well, I said, you know, the best you can.
Yeah.
The best you can. Quit,
Yeah.
shut up. Because you
It's-
know what? It's illegal to murder people, but people still get murdered.
Yeah.
So you have to try the
That's
best you
true.
can, right?
I mean, there are not the resources in place to enforce it. You know, it's not like they're going to go door to door.
Unfortunately,
But, you know,
I want to be
whenever-
deputized to go door to door. I really do. I want to give out tickets. I want to walk down the street and give people tickets.
Well, there's a 60-day I think, warning period.
Allegedly, yes,
right
but yeah.
now. But
I just want
listen,
to put them in shackles
I hear you.
and torture them. That's what I would like to do if they have. I mean, it just when you hear about animals being bred, it just kills me. I can't just take it anymore.
Yeah.
So now you have this the website, and what do you have on your website?
Well, we just we update the content completely every week, and we have a different main feature. For instance, this week it's called Still Looking, and it's kind of, just talks about people who are trying to find homes for animals and offers some kind of helpful information to help them.
You mean people that find animals or?
Yeah, I mean, not rescues so much, because rescues obviously know what they're doing, but for individuals, or there's so many people out there, and as you know, networking to try and find homes for animals that they found and they've been unable to find the owners. Even if they've taken them to the shelter and tracked them, the owners don't show up, and they end up with them, or friends or relatives have died, and they've taken it upon themselves to rehome them. There's so many different situations, but it's not easy finding a good home for animals. It really isn't.
It's not. I've been showing my animals in the promenade, and now I'm doing cats, and I'm not handing them over to people by any means. I do a very long and difficult I'm not making it easy, because there are a lot of really crappy homes out there. That's why there's animals in the pound. That's why they're being dumped.
Yeah, well, people don't really, I've had a lot of people, when I was involved with Much Love, you'd always hear, well, why are you making it so difficult for us to take one of these animals? Why is there an application? Why do we have to pay money? And the basic answer is, we want to ensure, we feel like the animals have already been through enough.
No kidding.
And we want to ensure that now they'll have a good home, and they're not going to end up running out on the street and getting killed, or end up back in the shelter, and that, you have the resources to take care of them moving forward. And, that's why those policies are in place.
Like, I have a 4-page application, which deters people, and that's okay with me, because I don't want to adopt to people that haven't thought it out. They're not ready to make a commitment.
It's a big responsibility, and not everybody looks at it that way.
Yeah, well, rescue has ruined my life, basically. So if you, it's pretty much ruined my life. So I'm not going to let you I do cats mainly because it's easier. They don't bark, and I can sneak them into my apartment.
Yeah.
But the main reason I don't want them outside, for example, is because it's too hard to rescue them. I could have left them at the pound to be killed. I'm not going to let if I adopt them to someone who lets them get hit by a car, that doesn't work for me.
Right.
Or get eaten by a coyote.
Right.
And it's just it's too depressing. I got some beautiful cats the other day, some very beautiful cats and I try to explain to people from South LA.
Right.
And they had been networked a bit, but they're absolutely spectacular, adorable, sweet animals that are very affectionate and outgoing. And the fact that people don't understand that animals at the pound are not, it's not the animal's fault that they're at the pound.
Right.
They're like, what's wrong with them? There is nothing wrong with these animals.
Exactly.
The people that dump them, it's like they're a different race.
Yeah.
It's a different situation.
Well, the other thing that's so difficult is, the animals, it's a very stressful situation for them.
Yeah.
To be at that, anyone who's been to a shelter knows, the noise and the chaos there on the most part. So, for anyone going into a shelter and looking to adopt an animal, they see these dogs barking and cats freaking out, and they think, oh God, I don't want that animal. That's a difficult animal. There's something wrong with that animal. So, and that's where volunteers come in and make such a huge difference, because they can work one-on-one with people who are coming in to look for an animal, find out, what would be the best animal for them. Because that's the other thing. Rescues do the same thing. It's finding the right fit. It's finding out what the person's lifestyle is.
Right.
And making the right match so that it sticks and the animal stays in the home. It's no good giving a very energetic dog to someone who doesn't like to exercise very much. So, and it really helps having those volunteers there and, explain, oh, the dog's just, has a lot of energy right now because they've been stuck in this kennel for a few months. All they need is a little exercise and a little structure, and you've got yourself a great dog.
Right. I've noticed, many times when I've transported dogs, people don't understand this. They do not understand the connection. You take them out of the pound, they understand it. I've taken a dog in my car for a half an hour, and they worship at my altar. They just absolutely get it. They get the connection. And they all people want puppies, which are just a horrible mess, and they're really difficult to teach and take care of. And I always try to explain to them that they need to get an adult dog to save themselves some time. And the dog is easily, they're trainable. And so all dogs, they just live to worship you, which is ridiculous, because most people are not worthy of a love of a dog, as far as I'm concerned. I haven't met that many people that are worthy of it. So you have 6 dogs? Is that how you... Not really.
Not officially,
no, not
Mary.
officially. Oh, you have some foster dogs. That's right. I forgot. Not real dogs. You have some some foster dogs. Okay.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes. I'm always fostering dogs and then finding them homes and moving them out, because that makes a huge difference. If once one of the hardest things is when you pull dogs from shelters and then you have to place them back into a boarding situation.
Right.
So ideally, it's all about finding foster homes, which is not an easy thing to find. And, then you find the foster, and a lot of times the foster ends up adopting the animal, which is great, but then you've lost your foster.
Right.
And then you have to find another one.
Right.
So, but it makes a huge difference, because then the animal, they're not stressed out.
Right.
They're been socialized, that you can learn a lot about them.
Right.
If they're good with other dogs, if they're good with cats, you find out about their personality, and then it makes it much easier to find them a home.
Right.
So always a good thing to foster. Not enough, never
Well,
enough
I try to
fosters.
get people to foster. I always ask for fosters at my events,
Yeah.
and I found that there's people that really shouldn't adopt permanently because their lifestyle is not
Exactly,
work.
if they're
like
traveling
I
a
have
lot or-
students fostering cats for me, which is good because they don't really have the finances.
Perfect.
But they love having kitties.
Yeah.
And that's nice. I have a traveling French chef that whenever he's in town, he calls me up, Marie, I have time to take some cats. And it's great because he loves having cats when he's so that's great. So I always try to find those kind of fosters, because those people, they like having animals, but they don't want to do the responsibility. I just took a cat over to a girl yesterday who's a student, and the cat's a great cat, and he would have been dead. So this is just a great thing.
Yeah.
Foster. We need fosters.
Exactly.
Fostering is a really good thing if you ever want to do that. If you're ever interested, people in fostering animals, contact a rescue group and offer to do it.
Yeah, and rescues will supply you with, you get all the food and beds,
Medical,
bowls, whatever you need.
Right.
So you really have no responsibility whatsoever. And the shelters also, have foster programs, city and county.
That's right.
And they really need help with that. A lot, especially with the young puppies and the kittens who aren't old enough to be adopted out. They need to be in a safe, clean environment until they're old enough to be, fixed and vaccinated and moved on. That's a huge problem.
Well, yesterday I was at the pound getting the cat, and there were 8 puppies. And they were about to kill them. There were 8 puppies without their eyes open that someone found under a house, which is disgraceful, but found them under a house. They're like this big. So we're networking today because fortunately one of the ACTs took them home last night. But they were going to kill them. That's the thing. People don't understand that the animals that are unweaned, that are, quote, unweaned, that are not eating on their own, are killed.
Yeah,
within a short period of time.
What else can they do? It's to leave them there and no one's feeding them.
That's why they need fosters to bottle feed kittens and puppies.
Yeah.
Because people are not responsible and still not responsible enough to. It was just.
Well, even when they are weaned, I just helped get 8 puppies from Downey Shelter who were 4 weeks old, no mother, but they were eating on their own. But they can't be adopted out until they're fixed.
That's right.
So. And if they stay in the shelter for
they'll get sick.
Another couple of months, chances are they'll get sick and they'll never make it out. So, again, it helps to put them into a foster home. Makes a big difference.
And also you get to, it's a lot. It's also lots of fun.
It's lots of fun picking up all that poop.
It's lots of fun wiping the little butt. My dog loves kittens.
Nothing like it.
My dog loves kittens. When
Really?
I bottle feed kittens, she likes to lick their butts. And
There
she
you go.
never had a litter, which is crazy, and it's great, but she loves her. When she hears baby kittens, she gets really excited, and she likes, and if they're walking, she chases after them and licks.
It's actually not that much work. It really isn't, to have the puppies and the kittens. It's...
Yeah, but the problem is we shouldn't have so many being born because people are not spaying and neutering, but we're getting there.
We're getting there.
We have the
We're
spay
getting there.
ordinance. We have a little bit. We have Oprah now with the puppy mills, which is very exciting.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll have a rescue dog in the White House.
I hope so. They've been apparently people have been sending him. There were 2 dogs at the South LA pound. Did you see the article?
I saw the paper today. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Puppy mix. I mean, poodle mixes.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many dogs out there. I know they'll do the right thing. And
God, I hope they
and
do the right
adopt.
thing. They have
will.
to do the right thing.
They will. I think they realize how significant it is.
Yeah, it's very exciting. Now we have
It's going to change everything. It really is.
If he adopts a shelter dog or a rescue dog, that's good.
It's going to change everything.
Go, Mr. O.
Yes.
Go, Mr. O. Go, O family. That's great. So, Helen, so today, what are you doing today? Are you doing adoptions today? What are you doing?
No adoptions today. I was actually planning on having a day off until you contacted me.
Okay, well, I'm so happy you came. I'm so happy you came, and thank you for taking your time to come and see us.
It's a pleasure to be here.
And good luck with the Wuffington Wag.
Thank you very
You
much.
guys are going to have to figure out how to find it. I guess you can use that Google so you can find it. Okay, and there's a lot of good information on it. Visit your shelters, adopt, don't breed or buy.
Mm-hmm. And a posting service for people who are, want to post a photo and a bio of an animal they're trying to find a home for, an animal that's been lost or found. We can post up there, and we'll keep them up there as long as it takes. So
that's great. So there's like a link on there. That's great.
Yeah.
Good for you. Well, thank you so much, Helen Storey, for being our guest today.
Thank you.
Are we
Mary.
almost done? We're almost done.
Okay.
Make sure you go to your pounds. Have your wag today. We got your little thing here.
Exactly.
Adopt, don't buy. Don't breed or buy.
Yeah, that's the message.
That's our message. Thank you for coming, and thank you for doing rescue.
Sure.
We'll see you next time. Bye.
I'm just walking my dog, singing my song, strolling along. Oh, it's just me and my dog, catching some sun.